Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Brother Canvas Workspace to create a cross. The skills you will learn are creating shapes, resizing the shapes, and welding the shapes together. And the reason I need a cross is because I'm creating some shower favors, which I'll show you in a future video. And on the back of those favors, I'm stamping shower with love inside a cross, and I will show you all of that. Now, the reason I'm in a rush to get this done today is because, as I mentioned on my Facebook site, and I'll mention right here, is Brother Canvas Workspace is going down for 3 days, okay, for maintenance. 7 p.m. today until, in 3 days from now, April 22nd, 6:59 p.m. We are going to be 72 hours, crafty friends, without Brother Canvas Workspace. Okay, so gives us more time to do other things, but I needed to get the file. I could have created this on my machine, by the way. You can do this editing right on your machine, but it's so much easier with my eyesight to just make a big cross and then shrink it down to the size that I wanted. All right, so with that introduction, let's just get started. Now, really, what is a cross? A cross is two rectangles put together, right? So to create a rectangle, let me just go back to make sure you know where I'm at. On the left side, when you're in Brother Canvas Workspace, you see My Projects, Basic, Border, Logo, Text, Stamp. You're going to Basic, and that's where I got the shape of the square. And I clicked on the square, and I have a square on my screen. To make the square into a rectangle, you just stretch it using your mouse. But to be exact, you can go into this Show Properties, and you can make it the exact size you want it. I don't want it to stay in proportion. In other words, I'm going to uncheck the Maintain Aspect Ratio because I already know the size I want. And this is after a lot of experimentation. So let's say 1.4 was a good height, and then 1.4 inches, and 4.75 inches was a good width. Okay, and so I'll just put that out in the middle. I'm making a giant cross, but later I'll make it smaller just because, like I said, it's easier for me to work with large images. All right, so you could create another rectangle, or you could go up to here to edit, and you could hit this duplicate, okay, which is what I did. That's easier than starting from scratch. And then I'm going to just hold my shift key on my keyboard. I'm holding the shift key. As I grab that little handle, there was a little rotation handle, and it's green. It's a little dot. I grabbed the rotation handle while holding the shift key. This is something you could do in almost any program. Okay, so that's what I just did. To make it turn at 90-degree angles. I'm going to make sure I'm telling you why I did that. Now, since I'm making a cross, this rectangle needs to be larger than the rectangle beneath it. Okay, so we go to Properties again, and it's still going to be 1.4 as far as width is, but the height is going to be 6.5. And I think that looks good as far as being in proportion. Okay, now just to be exact, I want these two to be in alignment. They're pretty well aligned. Let's first click on this. I'm going to select this rectangle. I'm going to nudge it up with my key, with my arrow key. I'm just going to nudge it up because I want the top rectangle to be about a third down to make it look like a cross. Now I'm going to select both because I want it actually to be in alignment. So I'm going to go up here to Edit, and I'm just going to say Align in the center. You're probably not going to notice anything, but really it moved over about a pixel to the right, this middle rectangle. Now they are perfectly aligned. While they're still both selected, and you might be asking yourself, asking me, Paper Chef, how do you know they're selected? You see these little dots? I call them sort of marching ants. There, let's unselect it. I'll show you. See, this is not selected. When I select them both, dragging over them, I get what look like marching ants. These little marks mean that both of these shapes are selected. Okay, so with them both selected, I'm going to go up here to Edit, and you're going to go down to Process Overlap, and you have some choices. And the one I want to do is I want to weld these shapes together. because I don't want that big square in the middle of my cross. I want the cross to be one shape. Okay, so let's weld them together. And there we have it. We have a cross. Now I'm going to make a lot of crosses. I'm going to, for my party favors. So we're going to be resizing this and duplicating it and rotating it. But before I do that, you might be saying, isn't there a cross shape in here? Well, no, there's not on the machine. I've already checked all over the machine and the built-in, patterns and icons and things like that. And I also checked in here, just so you know, and there is this, but that does not look like a cross, and you can't really make it look like one. It just doesn't, it's not the right proportions. So why they didn't put that basic shape, I have no idea, but it's a common shape that, many people need to use. So there we have it. So we have a cross. Now to fit to fit more crosses on a paper, I'm going to show you how we can flip this as well to make it so we can fit more when we're cutting. Now, I need to make small crosses for my party favors. So let's go here to properties. I have my cross selected, and I want it to be only 1.5 inches high. Okay, that's it. 1.5 inches high. Oops. Before I hit enter, I want to maintain aspect ratio. Okay? And then I can hit enter just to get out of here. Or actually, it already did it, but you see how it is. It made it, the width was 1.1. Okay? Because I already made this nice cross. It was in proportion. So you want to make sure if you're going to resize it, that you check off maintain aspect ratio. Okay, I'm putting it over there to the left. Not all the way to the left of the mat, to the left where this red dot is. The red dash means this is the cutting area of my mat. I have about 6 by 6 to work with because I'm going to be cutting these crosses onto Gingham Gala Designer Series paper, which is a 6 by 6 piece of paper. So I can make a few rows of crosses. So let's take the cross and duplicate it. Go up here to edit and duplicate. And then we're going to just do the little shift trick again. Hold that little rotation handle with your shift key, and it'll turn it at 45 and 90 degree angles. Okay, I'm going to nudge it up there. I'm going to go ahead and select both. So the reason I flipped it is to save paper. We can get more that way. I'm selecting both. I'm going up here to edit, and I'm going to align the tops of those. So now they're aligned. So now we can go ahead and select both of those and duplicate those. Edit, duplicate, and here, just put those here, and I'm going to edit, duplicate again. Edit, duplicate. We have 6 crosses. Okay, remember I'm working in I have to make sure I work within a 6 by 6 piece of Designer Series paper. So let's select them all. I'm dragging over the area with my mouse. There's this marching ants showing you they're selected. I'm going to go up to the edit, and I'm going to align to the top. I'm just used to doing that. It didn't matter, but I like things to be neat and clean and in groups. Speaking of groups, let's drag our mouse over all of those objects, and we can go up here and we can group them. The reason you want to group them is because now it's one object, this group, and I can now make 3 rows of those. Because I have the paper, I can go up here and say edit. I can fit duplicate and duplicate again, or edit, duplicate again. I think just 3, not quite 4. Let's see. Yeah, if I try to do 4 rows, it would be cut. I would cut off the last crosses. So let's just do that. And let's do that. And we don't need to even do this step, but for good measure, I like to align them all to the left. Okay, so let's select them all. Edit. We'll just go ahead and align those to the left. Okay, that's good enough. I can even nudge this one down a little bit. All right, so there are all my crosses. Let's see how many I get on a 6 by 6. 2, 4, 6, 18. I can get 18 crosses on my 6 by 6 piece of Gingham Gala. So now what we're going to do, so you know the big picture. I've already named my file. You should do the same if you're following along. I wrote crosses for shower. That's the name of my file. I first say overwrite this project. I don't know why ScanNCut just doesn't use the word save. I mean, really, why wouldn't you have a save button? They don't have a save button. You have to say overwrite this project every time, which is just kind of silly. Most programs have a save button. But needless to say, we are saved. Our project is saved. So we're going to go ahead and download it to our machine. And what's really nice about that is, hey brother, you can go down for maintenance for 3 days, but you can't touch my crosses. Because you know why? My crosses are going to be on my machine. And I'm going to save them onto my machine, and I'll show you how to do that. And then that way I can manipulate them later and I won't have to worry about that site going down. Alright, so let's say download, and we're going to put them on our machine. We're going to use what's called the ScanNCut transfer. And in the next part of this video, you're going to see me turn on the machine, or the machine will be on, I'm sorry. You'll see me hit the get these file from these Brother Canvas Workspace, and then we can go ahead and we can cut out the file. And I'll show you what I'm going to be doing with these crosses, and you'll get a sneak peek at part of my party favors that I'm making for the shower. So thank you for watching this part, and I'll see you soon. Hello crafty friends, Paper Chef here. Welcome back. In the first part of this video, I showed you how to create crosses using Brother Canvas Workspace. In this part of the video, we're going to retrieve those crosses. We're going to cut them out on some Gingham Gala Designer Series paper by Stampin Up. Then I'm going to show you how to stamp onto those itty bitty crosses using Itty Bitty Greetings by Stampin Up. And those are going to be part of my baby shower project that I'm working on. Alright, so for this part, now we're just going to go to a pattern. Okay, we turned on our machine and we're going to go to pattern. We're on the ScanNCut. And we're going to use this button here, which looks like a cloud pointing at the machine. It's how to retrieve files from online. I'm just using a bunny pop because my stylus is missing in action. Alright, so there is the file we just got done creating in Brother Canvas Workspace. It has all our crosses on it. And remember, I designed it that way on purpose because my paper is only 6 by 6. Okay, so let's say okay. And let's say cut. And let's go ahead and cut out those files. So move the machine. Oh no, leave the machine for a second. I'll just put some, I'm just going to grab a mat. I'm using the CM350, so I just have regular, this is my cutting mat. I'm going to place the Designer Series paper up in the top left corner. And by the way, the color of this paper is balmy blue because I'm doing a baby, it's a baby boy. My nephew and his wife are having a baby boy. Yay! And so this is balmy blue because that's the main color of my party favors. And you've heard me before say that the mats are not very sticky. So right now, just so this doesn't slip, I'm just using some painter's tape on my mat. Okay, I'm gonna load the mat. I'm just holding my hand on the mat while I load it, while I press one finger up here, but I also, the other hand, while I'm loading my mat, I usually hold one hand on the mat and one hand on that load button. Okay, my blade depth. If you're using a DX, that's fine. This whole process works the same way, but I'm using the CM350, so I have to set my blade depth. So I'm gonna set it to 3 for Designer Series paper by Stampin' Up. I'm gonna hit start. And this machine is kind of loud. And I gotta print a lot of crosses, right? So we're gonna move it back there. And then I'll just kind of tilt this down and show you my stamp sets we'll be using. Maybe I need to tilt this up. Okay, we're going to be using a 2-part stamp set called Itty Bitty Greetings in the annual catalog. And there's so many greetings in this set, and they are itty bitty, but so are our crosses. I thought of using Sweet Baby, but I have the word baby on a different part of the party favor. So I decided to use this one here called Showered with Love. If you would like this stamp set or anything else, there's my store. A link to my store. Okay, and right now it's Good Friday, very happy day, and I do have a really cool video that I'll link to at the end of this showing my Easter crafts. And even if you're watching it later, it's still cool to see Easter crafts because bunnies and chicks and things are fun. Okay, I'm just pointing up so you don't miss any steps. So what we've done is we've cut this. Let me focus into my camera here. All right, zooming back up. We have cut the crosses, and we're going to just say okay, and then we're going to hit unload. That's this button here, right there. Unload, and that's it. So you don't need that anymore. Well, we will get to that later. So if you want to find out how to save a file, please stick around till the end. You know, I always have nuggets of wisdom at the end of my videos. So hopefully you stick around and you get to see why it's important to know how to save this file that we just cut onto your machine, especially with the maintenance happening. Okay, so here we take our crosses, and the easiest way to get these off the mat is just to bend the mat. You get all your crosses, and I'm actually going to stamp onto that side, so I'm going to leave them up like that. Because every piece of designer series paper in this Gingham Gala set has like a big pattern and a small pattern, and I think it just looks cuter to stamp onto the smaller pattern. So I've been making so many of these, I think that's all I need right now. I think I finally have enough, but I have to stamp them. So there are my crosses, and let's tilt down, and here they are. So what we're going to do is just turn them like that, and I've already inked up my stamp. This is the Shower with Love stamp. I don't even put stickers on my stamps. It comes with stickers. They come with stickers to say what they are, but I'm the only one that uses them for the most part, except at my workshops, and I have a sample sitting there so they all know which block goes with which stamp anyway. So when I stamp, I'm using, by the way, Memento Black ink, okay, and when I stamp, I always like to tap, tap, tap down onto my stamp pad. You should always stamp like by being above something to get the best angle, but I'm kind of at a weird angle, but that's okay. You guys get the idea. We are crafters. We do what we got to do. Okay, so I'm holding it for about 3 seconds because this isn't like typical, Whisper White cardstock. This is designer series paper. Therefore, it's not like absorbent like Whisper White cardstock. You can stamp onto it, but it's not like glossy or anything. So really, you have to hold it for like 3 seconds. And if you don't, you're going to wonder why your image is not very dark. I'm just letting the ink kind of get absorbed there. So as you can imagine, I did a little bit of experimentation to see exactly which size cross I needed for the little jar party favor I'm putting these on, and for making sure that my sentiment fit on here. So this is what I came up with. All right, so that's you get the idea. I don't really like that one. That's a little smeared. You get the idea to hold it still, to wait 3 seconds, and you could use your Stamparatus or what have you. All right, so we've stamped all our crosses, and we do the rest of the project, and I'll be showing you that in a future video. So let's go back to the machine for a moment. Like as I said, maintenance is happening for a few days. So if you want to get to these files again, like maybe I need more crosses, or I'm not sure, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to lose this file because right now it's stored on Brother Canvas Workspace, but I want it to be stored on my machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go back, get my lollipop, my lollipop stylus, go back, and I'm going to be at this page here, and I'm going to say save. Okay, now it's already in Canvas online, so why would I save it there? No, you can save it to your machine, to your USB stick, or to your computer. I'm saving it to my machine because I want to be able to get to it without even being connected to the internet. So there it is, it's image 124. Yay! All right, so let's just go back to the home screen, and this time you come along, it's tomorrow, you turn on your machine, and you go to pattern, and you're like, oh, I wish I could use Canvas Workspace because there are my crosses. Nope, you can't because it's down for 3 days. So instead, you know that you saved it because today I said to save it. So you saved it on your machine, and you go to Save Data. That's where you find what's saved on your machine. And you go here to the machine, and you could scroll down 1, 2, 3 and go to the 10th page, but instead I just go backwards because these pages toggle. So I'm just going to the last page by hitting up. And there are my crosses. Yes. So you have a very blessed Easter, and thank you for watching this tutorial. Bye for now.